Brethrens, welcome to episode 2 of the Minecraft Superflat series. Today we are continuing our adventures in 1.1 by starting our mega civilization. This came with many run-ins with slimes, deaths, and lots of gathering blocks, and we are even adding some lore to our world for this build, so let's get right into it. Alright, we are back in our Superflat world. We have not upgraded, we are still on 1.1 for now, but I do have a lot planned, so let me show you what I have been up to. So I've not been up to too much since we've last been on. I have been mining a ton of cobblestone, which I'll show you over there, but as you can see, I have a bunch in this chest and a ton in this chest, as well as we got charcoal. I did go to Nether and I tried a lava bucket. Do not do this because when you smelt, it is great for smelting, because it smelts so many blocks. But the big thing is with that is that it kind of takes your bucket, so then you no longer have a bucket. So that's the downside of using a lava bucket to smell stuff. It's really convenient, but it does take your lava bucket. Obviously, we do not have a way to get unlimited iron right now, so we are just gonna have to make do with what we got. But I am going to need a crap ton of cobblestone. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7.5 cobblestone chests, and I need to fill all these up for the project that I have upcoming, but that is going to be a different video. This video, let me go ahead and sleep. This video I have a different build in mind, and this build is going to be huge. I decided our base is not big enough. I think it is too small, so I'm gonna start on our mega base, and in the time lapse I'll kind of go over it more, but we have some lore to our world, which I think is going to make this world way more exciting. But as you can see down here, I have cut out a perimeter and I've built up a pole right in the middle of this village, marking out the center, and that's how high it's going to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to save these villagers, and we're basically going to uproot this village into the sky. So that is at y equals 50, I believe, somewhere around there. The y limit is pretty short in these older versions of Minecraft. I believe it goes up to only 128 here in Superflat. So I want to make sure we have plenty of room for all our other builds. As you can see, that poor villager's stuck with those slimes, so we're gonna want to save them. Once I lift up this whole village, uproot it and lift it up, I don't know how we're gonna get the villagers up there. So you know what? That's for me to figure out later. So I think we're gonna start off with a quick time lapse. First, before I can get started on the main project of this episode, I need to light up this village to prevent mobs from spawning underneath the platform I'll be building and moving the current village to. I'll later find out that I didn't nearly use enough of my torches and mobs still spawned. Luckily there weren't too many though. But during this time lapse, I want to start to explain some of the lore that I've came up with for this world, which has led me to this build and what my future builds will be based on and centered around. So the lore starts off with me waking up here in this super flat wasteland, not knowing how or why I ended up here, in which I started exploring and created my base in the last episode. And during that time, I came across this village, this one I'm working on moving up to the platform in this episode, and these villagers of this particular village call themselves the Order of the Brethren. They told me that I'm the prophesied chronicler that is here to raise them up and advance their civilization from this flat wasteland. They then appointed me to be the Brethren's oracle to oversee the building of their civilization, and boy do I have tons of plans for things to build. Alright, so I've finished pretty much placing all the torches, I think, down there, I'm gonna wait till it's nighttime just to make sure that everything, just to double check everything is lit up. I have lit up all the outside and all the insides, making sure all the insides, well, shoot, forgot to do the blacksmith building. I'll go back and do that. But every other building is lit up adequately. It looks pretty good from up here. I'm gonna have to wait till it's night just to double check to make sure that everything is lit up perfectly, and then we can go ahead and start on my building. All right, it's almost nighttime, and it looks like it's pretty much all lit up, which is good. I'm not seeing any real shadows, just maybe just one torch in between there, maybe a couple torches in those buildings. But yeah, overall it's looking good. It's looking like mobs aren't going to be able to spawn there, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. It looks like I kind of overestimated how many torches I was going to need, but that's fine because we're definitely going to put a bunch of these torches to use later. But I'm going to sleep and then I'm going to start building the platform up here. Alright, as I get this build started, I wanted to get into more of this world's lore. So as the Brethren's Oracle, as I've explained before, I'll oversee all the building projects and advancements of this civilization. And these projects are going to correspond with each update. So with this in mind, I'm going to spend time making and creating builds in each version of the game to make up the different districts in this world with all the new materials and tools each new version brings. So right now, starting in 1.1, we're in what I'm calling the Stone Age. Well, because stone is the easiest material for me to get right now, since iron golems have not yet been introduced into the game. So at this point, iron is a pretty rare and valuable resource since it can only be found really in chests of the blacksmith buildings. But anyways, let's go to our first major build, which is going to be this floating villager island I'm calling Brethra. This will serve as the Order of the Brethren's main district, basically serving as this world's capital. And this island is special because the Order of the Brethren have harnessed a magical power to lift this island off the ground, thus escaping the destruction the slimes have brought to their village. And this is just the start of this district. Later on, my goal is to come back and further upgrade it when I get more materials in later updates. But anyways, let's get back to the main build. And boy, was this build kind of disastrous for me. It took me forever because I started off building the circle at y equals 50, which I should have started at y equals 49 because I need a bottom layer to hold the gravel so it doesn't fall. And with the build height restrictions in this version of the game, I want to try to keep as much build height available to me for actual builds. Then my next mistake was that I miscalculated the circle and I made it based on the diameter of the square, which led to part of the village not being able to fit on the platform, which is my silly mistake. Luckily, I caught this mistake early enough and I had already started to fix the Y level mistake, so I was able to scrap the circle idea without wasting a ton more time. But at last, I started to make a square lined up with the trench I previously dug out to the outline of the village. I also died quite a bit while making this build because I'm hella clumsy and I probably missed about 95% of my water bucket clutches. I did get one though, so that was pretty cool. But the most infuriating thing that almost made me give up on this build wasn't the first time I died, because it respawned me at the original world spawn, which should be the correct spawn, but almost every other time I died after that and I didn't have my bed placed down, that cost me tons and tons of time because for whatever reason this world decided to change my spawn to over 2,000 blocks away, and every time I died I had to spend like 5 minutes rushing back so that my stuff wouldn't despawn, and I spent most of my time traveling during the night because of course why wouldn't it turn night when I was traveling and I died. And then I'd have to dodge mobs, skeletons, creepers, spiders. It was just a whole big old mess. The zombies weren't too bad, but mostly the skeletons and the spiders and the creepers. I would have to dodge all of them just to get back, and it was just overall a massive pain. Although, one upside was I was able to peek in some of the villages, and I hadn't explored a lot a lot of them on the way back, so I was able to get obsidian and some iron ingots and some extra iron armor and iron tools from the blacksmith in those villages, and they also gave me food, which was very nice, so I didn't have to try to make a crafting table and steal wheat and stuff and make food. I was able to use that food to get back, so I could just sprint back as fast as I could so that I could get my possessions back. Also, this build took a ton and ton and ton and ton and ton and ton of dirt. I can't explain how much dirt, but it took, I can't even estimate how many stacks. It took so much dirt, which wasn't a huge problem because I was gonna have to dig out a bunch of that area for a future build anyways. Alright, we're finally done with the platform that I made. I'm in the process of putting some torches down right now just in case. Just in case to keep it mob proof so that mobs just don't spawn up here. I'd just rather be safe than sorry. So I'm in the process of doing that, and then I will start moving the village up here. But man was this was a big old pain in the booty. As you can see, I've lost my helmet. I need to get a new helmet at some point. But man, was this a pain. But I think I might do a time lapse. Just another time lapse of me moving up the village to up here. If not, I'm just gonna cut to when that's done. Alright, I finished placing all the torches in a pattern, and it should, like when I've seen it become night, this should all fully be covered, so no mobs should be spawning up here, thank the Lord. Unlike down here, I thought I had plenty of torches and mobs are still spawning in, so definitely have to redo the torches down here after. Well, see, there's a zombie. I don't even know how that zombie spawned in up there, but luckily the mobs seem to not attack the villagers, luckily, so that's good. But now I'm gonna start moving these buildings basically up there, their same position but up top there. So yeah, I'm gonna start that process, and you know what, I'll probably do a little time lapse of me doing that. So let's do that. So I started by stealing a bunch of gravel from one of the other nearby villages, so I would not have to worry too much about the gravel that I mined turning into flint and not having enough for my village path. After that, I started placing in the path by taking the X and Z coordinates, which took a little bit of time, but I ended up at some point making a creative world with the same seed so that I could take a screenshot from above, and that made my life so much easier in the long run. But for now, I was using the X and Z coordinates. And then after I finished my path, I started to make the outlines of the buildings out of dirt. Alright, taking a little break from the time lapse, I've gotten all the houses laid out and where they should go. And now all I need to do is build them in. And then place in all the dirt so the floor level is at y=50 where I want it to be. So let's continue the time lapse. So this is where my creative copy of the world, well, I guess I just copied the seed, not a direct copy of my world, and then I just went to the village to see where the stuff was. This is where that came in handy because I was just able to pop in and out, see how the builds were made, and really the village is just only like 5 or 6 buildings or whatever. So like once you get, you know, those 5 or 6 buildings in, then you can just copy them, rotate them around where they're supposed to be. And so this is where like me having the layouts came in clutch. But I was also able, I took a screenshot. I was able to take a screenshot from the above view. And so I started off with making all the small buildings and the wheat farms as well. And this made it go by super quick. So I knocked out all those small buildings first, and then I knocked out the big buildings. And before I started knocking out all these buildings, I took my reserves, my storage from my house, because before in the last episode I demolished that village, so I figured I'd have almost all the materials. I know I used some materials from my house, so that's why I say almost all the materials to recreate this village. So I took some of the chests, moved those materials up to the top so that I would have to travel as far, as well as I grabbed a couple extra saplings and I made a tree farm up here on the platform as well, so then I would have to travel as far for the wood. But I did have to hit the cobblestone generator a couple times because I did run out of cobblestone a few times, as well as I had to mine a ton more dirt. I'm sure you guessed it. More dirt, always more dirt to grab, which is fine for the most part, except being snuck up on by a couple of slimes every now and then, which, slimes are the bane of my existence. They're super annoying to me. They're fine at first, and then they just get more annoying and more annoying. But surprisingly, while building up the village on this platform, no slimes have spawned, which is interesting. I'm not sure if it has to do with the Y level it's at, or maybe the village isn't on a slime chunk, surprisingly, or maybe more realistically, it's the amount of slimes that are stuck underneath on the village. But I did kill some and they did keep respawning down there, so I'm not exactly sure. If you guys have an idea, let me know for sure. Also, if you guys have any way to get the villagers up on this platform, I'm open to ideas. I have an idea, I'm not sure if it'll work, and I'm open to suggestions because I'm sure a lot of the modern ideas won't work. Like putting the villager in a boat and taking on a lead, that didn't exist back in this version. So if you guys have an idea on how to get the villagers up here, please let me know. As well as if you're enjoying the video, please give a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, helps the channel a lot, and I want to keep creating more Minecraft content, so hit that like and subscribe for more content. And if you guys have any ideas or suggestions to add to lore or lore based builds or anything like that to the world, please let me know as well in the comment section down below. All right, my recreation of the village down below is all complete now. Finally, I have all the builds done. I have not done the interiors, and also I don't have access to glass right now because I cannot get silk touch, and 2, there's no sand in the world, so obviously there's no sand in Superflat. So barred that, we are all complete. I do need to go and place in all the dirt to make the dirt level even, which shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think I'm definitely gonna have to collect more dirt. I have some dirt in those chests, but I've completed the village. So let me go ahead and fill in that dirt real quick, and I'll meet y'all back. All right, we have filled in all the dirt. Finally, the village is complete. I just have to do one more thing. That is make some poles so then we can get some grass up here. So I'm gonna do that on all 4 sides real quick. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so my idea, as I'm almost down here, is to kind of make some spiral staircase type things. That way the grass can actually grow, because if it's stacked one on top of each other, it's not gonna grow. And can y'all not? Can y'all please not right now? There's just so many slimes. Like, I'm sure you could see all of them. All over here, all over here. It's just, it's out of hand. I don't know how more slimes keep spawning. I have no idea. There's just so many slimes. The idea is to like come over here. My idea is to should probably build up another pole, and then so I want to make this pole, and then I want it to branch out onto the top layer. I don't know if the bottom layer could become grass, but I want to make sure that it really doesn't. So we get a branch out like that, and then give me a second, let me get back down to the bottom. And then, see, it's already become grass. Hopefully, let's just be cautious. Hey, don't get away from me. Get, scram. No. Oh, guy. Anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted, let's do a spiral. I just want to make sure of course I already messed up, but I just want to make sure the dirt can climb this. So just make sure that's all connecting just like this. Hopefully we'll get some dirt up there. Luckily no slimes have spawned. Jeez, I can't speak. No slimes have spawned up there, so hopefully it'll stay that way, but we'll see. I still have to figure out a way to get the villagers up there. I'm thinking of doing somewhat the same thing, making a staircase like this inside their house, and hopefully they'll walk up the staircase. Just look how far they love to wander. But I'm gonna have to wait before I do that, because I'm definitely going to have to make sure they can't walk off the side, because that would be no good. You know, they would definitely walk to their deaths. So I'm gonna have to villager proof the platform before I can get them up there. So I'm just gonna keep on doing this, and I'll meet y'all when I'm done. Jeez. Alright, I have all these poles finished on all 4 sides, so hopefully this grass starts spreading up here fairly quickly. But that's all I have time for in this episode, so if you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe. Also comment down below any build ideas or any lore related ideas you would like to see in future episodes. I would like to read that and see what you guys come up with. Anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Sing out, peace, 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 peace.